Today we are going on a road trip because that's the exact vibe Sur La Route gives off, so stay tuned. Hey, what's going on guys? Hunter here and welcome back to my channel where I upload weekly fragrance content. So hit the subscribe button down below and also be sure to follow me over on my Instagram page. But today we are reviewing Louis Vuitton's Sur La Route, which is extremely underrated. This is not one of the most popular from the entire house, but this is a very special fragrance and I'm so excited to be reviewing it for you guys today because I think this is actually my 9th or 10th Louis Vuitton I've reviewed on the channel. You already know if you watch my channel, I'm a huge fan of Louis Vuitton, one of my favorite designer houses of all time. There has been some rumors going around that Sur La Route might eventually be discontinued because they did away with the 200 ml bottles of these, so they might be running out of juice and just kind of like using the leftovers for the 100 ml until they run out. So keep that in mind if you are looking for a bottle. So let's go with some information now. Sur La Route was launched in 2018 alongside 4 others, which were the first 5 fragrances for men within the Louis Vuitton lineup. As far as the retail price goes at the time of this recording, because these prices always change, they always go up like year after year. But right now you can get a 100 ml bottle for $300. But what's great about Louis Vuitton is once you go through your 100 ml bottle, you can take it back to a boutique and they will refill it for over $100 off. I just love that, especially if you have a Louis Vuitton as your signature scent, you just keep going through a bottle. You don't have to re-buy the same bottle over and over again at that hefty $300 price tag. The concentration, just like all of the men's Louis Vuittons, is an eau de parfum, which means you are getting a little bit more perfume oils in your fragrance compared to like a eau de cologne or an eau de toilette. So it's always good to know your fragrance is a little bit more concentrated. The perfumer, who is of course the in-house perfumer for Louis Vuitton, is the man himself, Jack Cavalier. One of my favorite perfumers of all time. He's created so many good fragrances. One that comes to my mind is Tuscan Leather by Tom Ford, my first high-end purchase around 6 years ago. So I love Jack Cavalier. He's by far one of my favorite noses of all time. With all that information out of the way, let's look at the packaging and presentation you get with Sur La Route now. So taking a look at the boxes, if you've seen one Louis Vuitton box, you've basically seen them all because they are very similar. Of course, it's in this like recycled paper cardboard box. Sur La Route Louis Vuitton Eau de Parfum 100 ml. On the bottom, you have your barcode and badge code to authenticate your product to see when it was produced. Nothing on this side. On the back, you do have your information ingredients. These are made in France. And then on top, you just have your LV logo and some of your barcode information as well. And then you open this box up, and inside is housed your Louis Vuitton canister. Of course, you have the LV and gunmetal, meaning the men's collection. And then it opens up like so, where your fragrance is housed. It's all in all, not the highest of quality packaging, but I love the simplicity of it. Now take a look at the bottle, which is probably one of my favorite designer bottles of all time. I love the aesthetic of these things. Of course, Sur La Route in black, Louis Vuitton embossed in that glass. On the bottom, you have etched in all your information. Nothing on the back. You actually can't see the atomizer straw inside, but there is one. These are spray bottles. On top, you have the LV and gunmetal. Nothing inside of the cap, nothing on the atomizers, but these are magnetic and they are very strong. At the top, you have citruses, bergamot, lemon, and pink pepper. In the mid, you have grass, nutmeg, hedione, and cardamom. And in the base, you have leather, cedarwood, Peru balsam, patchouli, and isoe super. And this will be classified as a citrusy fresh. So let's test out these Louis Vuitton atomizers. Very good atomizers, probably one of my favorites as well. So let's go ahead and smell Sur La Route and see if this actually transports me to a road trip, because Sur La Route means on the road. Right off the bat, this is not going to smell like a cheap synthetic citrus like cleaner or anything along those lines. Extremely high quality, very complex freshie with all those citruses. You're not just getting that bergamot, you're not just getting that lemon. They're all combined together to make a very, very complex scent profile. And I think Louis Vuitton uses like Calabrian bergamot, Calabrian citron, stuff like that, which is the highest of high when it comes to the quality of these ingredients. And you can definitely tell this stuff smells very, very natural. I am getting that very bright lemon note in the top, which probably resembles like the sunshine, because from the top, mid, and base, this does take you on a road trip and literally smells like you are on an open road. You are gonna, of course, get that vibrant lemon along with this green tart bergamot note, and a little bit of a spicy pink pepper in the background of that opening. Just a very happy opening of a fragrance with this. Now when you get into the mid of Sur La Route is when you're gonna get this fresh cut grass note. Very green, very grassy and earthy. along with these white florals. Of course, that's coming from that Vuitton, which I think is more of a green, like jasmine note, which you definitely detect. Very floral, very grassy, and it smells like you're just driving around in a convertible, like drop top, down like the countryside when it's sunny outside. You're going past these fields of grass, maybe some florals in there. That's the exact vibe I think this gives off. Absolutely the perfect fragrance to wear if you actually are going on a road trip down the countryside. And then when you finally make your way into the base of this one, you are gonna get that rugged, almost smoky leather note, along with the cedar wood and patchouli. Yeah, very woody, very leathery, kind of like car seats, like a car leather seats, which just fits perfect along with that whole vibe. In the top, like I said, you're getting that lemon, which probably resembles a sun, very sunny. Then in the mid, you are getting the grass notes, you are getting the white florals, like the countryside driving by. And then to round it all off, you are getting that leather note, like you're in a leather car seat. Along with the woods, of course, when you're going down the countryside, you're gonna have the woods all around you as well. Probably, honestly, one of the most complex fragrances from the entire Louis Vuitton lineup. Even though this isn't my favorite from Louis Vuitton, I respect this one so much. And I think this one does deserve a little bit more hype than it actually gets. And I would also say Sur La Route is probably one of the most unique fragrances from Louis Vuitton in the men's line, because I haven't really smelled anything that even goes close to this one, unlike L'Immensité, which kind of smells like Tiger by Bulgari. And then you also have Orage, which sort of smells like Terre Hermes. This one though, nothing smells like it at all. So for the best seasons to wear Sur La Route, I would recommend the fall, spring, and summertime. It's definitely more targeted for the warmer weathers rather than the cold. It just smells, like I said, being outside with friends, buddies, going on a road trip, being in the country. But yeah, definitely stick to more of the warmer weather. For occasions, this is actually pretty versatile. You can dress this one down if you're wearing like shorts, you know, just a t-shirt, or you can actually dress it up more formal in like a suit, a button up, a button down, etc. So yeah, it can be very, very versatile, worn both in a casual setting and a formal setting. Now for gender and age groups, with Sur La Route, of course, this is in the masculine line of fragrances. Louis Vuitton has a feminine line, a masculine line, and then they have their cologne line, and then they have their oud line. So with Sur La Route, I know some of the men's line can be worn as unisex. However, I think this one does lean on the masculine side. There's just nothing really feminine about this one at all. Of course, you have that burst of citruses in the top, but then in the mid, it becomes very green and grassy. And then in the dry down, you have a smoky, rugged leather note with some wood. So yeah, definitely leans on the masculine side. Probably one of the most masculine fragrances in the men's line, along with Nouveau Monde. I personally probably would not want my woman wearing Sur La Route. I just don't think it would be that sexy on her. But on me, I think this smells incredible. But like I said a little bit earlier, this wasn't one of my favorites from Louis Vuitton. I actually only bought a bottle because I heard it was possibly getting discontinued. And of course, I had to have it in the collection since I own around 12 bottles of Louis Vuitton. But after getting a bottle and wearing it a couple times, this has actually grown on me a lot more. Still not my favorite, but I actually really enjoy this one now. When it comes to age groups to wear Sur La Route that I picture the best for, is definitely more slightly on the mature side rather than younger, youthful side. Even though I think the early 20s can pull this one off perfectly. So I would say, well, actually, I kind of take that back, because if you're like in your late teens, like 18 and up, and you're going on road trips with friends and stuff like that, just kind of hanging out outside, I think it's perfect for as well. So I would say slightly in the middle, but leaning on more of the mature side. So anyone 30, 40, 50s and up can pull this one off perfectly as well. Just not really youthful and playful or anything along those lines. I just remember when I was like a little bit younger, in my late teens, I used to go on road trips and things like that all the time. So that's why I kind of take that back. And I can definitely pull this off as a late teen as well, but still mature. Now, of course, wrapping things off, talking on the performance of Sur La Route. I know a lot of people complain about the performance of like all the Louis Vuitton, saying they're weak, they don't perform, they're just kind of disappear very quickly. That's not necessarily the case with a lot of them. I get some good performance from some of them. There's also some that are just very weak, like Afternoon Swim, Pacific Chill. Those two are extremely weak performing. With Sur La Route though, I got about average. It wasn't beast mode, it wasn't necessarily weak. On my skin from testing, I got up to 8 hours, but that is pushing it, nothing more than 8 hours of longevity. And as far as the projection went, I got maybe an arm's length and a half of good projection for the first few hours, maybe 2 or 3 hours or so. Then it starts to settle down closer to the skin once you start getting into that mid and that base when it becomes leathery. So people aren't going to smell you from like 6 feet away wearing this one. But when they do come a little bit closer, they will pick up on Sur La Route. And I think this is the kind of fragrance that when you're wearing it, it will kind of put a smile on everyone's face around you. Like I said in the top, this stuff is so happy, so kind of uplifting. I just love the whole vibe of this fragrance that it gives off. And this one will get you attention. It will get you compliments without a doubt. It's just not your typical designer freshie. This does lean more on the green side. It's not a blue fragrance or anything like that, but it will, like I said, still get people's attention and get people asking, what in the world do you have on? Even though this isn't necessarily the most mass appealing fragrance from Louis Vuitton, that would be more so like L'Immensité, Imagination. I still think people will appreciate this scent profile being like a green style fragrance rather than like a blue freshie. So if you're looking just for compliments, this might not be the best one to get, but it will still get you some. That's gonna do it for my review of Sur La Route. Let me know down below if you actually had the chance to try this one. And if you tried the Louis Vuitton fragrances, let me know which one is your favorite, because it's so hard to choose because they have such a great lineup in their entire collection. But besides that, leave a like, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and I'll see all of you back here in my next upload. Take care, everybody.